Not exactly blue sunny skies in Brisbane this morning. Instead, the city was suffocating in a thick layer of smoke. With more than 80 bushfires burning across the state, it's no surprise the haze has finally reached our city.
I rode my bike this morning and I certainly noticed a lot of haze in the air. You could certainly breathe it and smell it. It was amazing. It was very thick.
I'm a bit sick at the moment, so I thought it was that, but I could definitely feel like I was breathing in dust.
The current health warning is clear. Avoid the smog if you can.
Our advice is to remain indoors and to limit exposure to the smoke as much as possible.
The Weather Bureau says the intensity of the smoke shows just how ferocious the fires are here and in New South Wales.
That's bunching up the isobar so we get nice southerly flow, and that's brought all that smoke from those fires into Brisbane.
As a safety precaution, many schools and childcare centres remained closed across Queensland today. But experts say it's a little early to say goodbye to the dry and windy conditions, encouraging all Queenslanders to use their common sense.
Try to limit your exposure, so don't exercise, don't do anything too vigorous, because that'll mean you breathe more deeply and bring more dust in.
After today, the smoke is expected to move inland. But with temperatures increasing over the next few days, the reprieve may be short-lived. Adriana Mageros, 10 News First. Undernourished, sick and barely able to stand. These are only a few of the 78 puppies and older dogs rescued from terrible conditions. Housed in concrete pens, they're distressed, neglected and deprived of the life they deserve.
So annoying, people are making money out of these animals and they can't be bothered to care for them properly.
Gracie is an 18-month-old Boston Terrier. She required an immediate blood transfusion to save her life.
Gracie was in a terrible state when she came in. She was severely anemic, unable to stand, her colour was terrible.
Others, like this 15-year-old golden retriever, have been used purely for breeding for most of her life. Many more have bacterial infections like hookworm due to the poor living conditions.
So it's quite distressing. It's quite distressing for the staff that have to go in and remove these animals, and then there's a lot of ongoing treatment and rehabilitation after it.
Animal welfare groups say even though Queensland's laws are reasonably strong, more needs to be done. Currently, the maximum penalty for breaching animal duty of care is a $40,000 fine or 12 months in jail.
The reality is, whether you're breeding from one dog or 100 dogs, there's requirements that you must abide by under certain legislation, including the Animal Care and Protection Act.
For a lot of these dogs, it was quite touch and go, as a lot of them were not expected to make it through the night. At least for now, they are safe and well looked after before they are put up for adoption. Investigations into the alleged puppy farming operations is ongoing, with charges expected to be laid. Adriana Mageros, 10 News First. Raising a flag to raise an important issue. Transgender constable Mairead Devlin hoisted the LGBTI flag at police headquarters this morning as the service honoured inclusion and diversity.
From the day I came out, management have been very supportive. I'm sort of yet to come across someone who has expressed a negative opinion of what I'm doing.
First of all, so we're a workplace of choice, and secondly, we represent the diverse community we serve. If we don't understand that diversity within an organisation, how can we better serve our people?
The officer in charge of the service's LGBTI support network says it shows how far police have come.
If you think back about 10 years ago, we'd probably never see, an LGBTI pride flag in front of police headquarters. Well, here we are today.
Marking the issue, May the 17th started 12 years ago to raise awareness for the LGBTI community. It is now celebrated in over 130 countries around the world.
I felt humbled and proud. I didn't drop it. That was a concern, but yeah, I'm very glad to have been given the opportunity to raise it today.
He's hoping it becomes an annual event. Adriana Mageros, QUT News. The RACQ says this campaign should be all about road funding.
We haven't seen too many promises from either side of politics at the moment. The commitments that we need going forward are for the Bruce Highway and the Warrego Highway especially, and we also need city building projects like the Cross River Rail.
The motoring body says the new government should make it a priority to fix the Bruce Highway to the north and the Warrego to the west.
The Bruce Highway is basically the backbone of Queensland. It's the backbone of the Queensland economy. It's where the trucks keep moving and it's where our commuters keep moving every day.
It's also unsafe. considered the most dangerous road in Australia.
Yeah, that definitely needs upgrading. That's a death trap, that road in parts. Definitely a death trap. When you get further out, it's a death trap.
Those who make a living behind the wheel agree something needs to be done urgently.
Spend more money on the roads, especially up here. They spend a lot on the new Pacific Highway, so you can spend a lot in Queensland too.
Congestion already costs Australians $16.5 billion each year. And if effective plans aren't put into place, that amount is predicted to rise to $53 billion by 2031. The RACQ says better roads would cut that cost. Adriana Mageros, QUT News. Building wreckage and burnt car shells fill the streets of Baghdad from the carnage the night before. Police and medical sources say the bombings follow the bloodiest week of attacks in the capital this year. IS claim responsibility for the suicide attack in the northern marketplace Shiite Muslim district, El Shab, killing 41 people. A spokesman for Baghdad Operations Command say the attack in El Shab coordinated an explosive-filled vest and a planted bomb. The second attack, a car bomb in the southern neighbourhood of Al Rashid, left 6 dead, which a military spokesman describes as another suicide attack. The last attack hit Sadr city, killing another 28 people and leaving 57 injured. IS also claim responsibility for the attacks killing 100 people in the capital last week. Adriana Mageros, QUT News. The complex journey began just after dawn. The 5 accused arrived in Cairns Airport in a police van. On board, just the 5 men and a heavy police guard for the 3-hour flight to Melbourne. At Tullamarine, the plane immediately taxied into a large industrial shed and put in another secure van for the short trip to the court complex. The men were arrested near Cairns last week, suspected of trying to use this 7-metre fishing vessel to begin a journey from Cape York to Syria. State and federal police have been monitoring the men for days since they left Melbourne. It's suspected the boat was to be used to make the journey from Indonesia to Syria. The men had already been on the terror watch list and their passports been cancelled. The group have been charged with preparing to flee the country for the purpose of engaging in hostile activities. If found guilty, they face possible life imprisonment. Adriana Mageros, QUT News. 3 separate faculties have now become one, with drama, dance and music under the same roof for the first time.
It's probably the best facility of its kind in the world, and I don't think there's anything like it anywhere else.
Music facilities once spread across the university and Newstead are now all on the same floor. Staff welcome the fact that the new facilities allow them to innovate in terms of curriculum.
It's like an animal or something!
Drama facilities were also scattered at the Kelvin Grove and the Gardens Point campuses.
What did I miss?
We've always worked in kind of band-aided facilities before, where people have created rooms for us, but they were not rooms in which we could teach our art form.
The open plan design of CIP2 is creating stronger working connections between staff and their students.
I think that now this really lifts the benchmark in terms of international world-class facilities.
And it has staff and students leaping with excitement.
It's like, yay, hallelujah, we're finally in the building. It's an amazing, really an amazing space, and we're very grateful to be in such a world-class facility.
Each faculty had input into CIP2's final design, from the bar design in the studios to the texture of the floors.
The studios are currently being connected via Ethernet. A huge amount of interconnectivity and options to record very large ensembles.
This new level of technology and connectivity means I could be playing the piano here in this studio, while Alicia accompanies me here in this studio. These new facilities are music to the students' ears.
It's amazing. So the studio floors, they're sprung, so they're really good for absorbing our jumps and things.
It's just really nice being in a professional environment and being in professional studios.
They're beautifully acoustic, they're just a breeze.
CIP2 reunites once 3 separate hubs of learning into one big creative community.
I think John got it all.
Adriana Mageros, QUT News. Good evening. Welcome to QUT Web News.
Good evening.
Queensland's LNP opposition has a new leader. Tim Nicholls has taken over from Lawrence Springborg as the party tries to establish a new direction and win back government. Nicholls won a 3-way contest. Jacob Miley has been following developments today at Parliament. The budget has delivered for small businesses and the jobless young, but critics say it will hit families and students hard. Scott Morrison's budget has been called bland, not enough, and the dawn of a class war. Queensland's peak bicycle lobby group has warned against moves to hold a helmet-free trial in parts of Brisbane. The Deputy Mayor supports voluntary helmet laws in low-risk areas, but says any trial depends on the outcome of a Senate committee hearing. Time now for a look at the weather. Temperatures in the southeast today. The cool weather stayed at bay today, 28 the top. The Gold and sunny coasts both reached 26 degrees. And Ipswich was a little cooler, 11 the minimum. Around the nation tomorrow, and mostly sunny for Sydney, 25 the top. Mostly sunny in Canberra, partly cloudy for Melbourne and Adelaide, max temps in the low 20s.